So it's kind of synchronistic. Today is coming out day. And, I tried on like, oh, maybe I'm bi, that wasn't quite right. I mean, I'm not like that attracted to male identified people, but definitely queer. And I've like known for a while I'm like 25% girl. So yeah, so today I'm like writing a blog and posting some pictures on just my coming out as he, they. Yeah, I came up in a Reaganite household in a suburb of LA called Glendale. Really love my parents and my dad in particular is real moral inspiration for me. My grandfather is Dr. Bronner. He had the ovens of the Holocaust behind him. His parents, my great grandparents, were killed in the Holocaust. My granddad was a third generation soap making master soap maker in a Jewish soap making family. So the Holocaust was the dark inspiration for his passion and mission in the world to unite humanity across religious and ethnic divides, and that all, we're all worshiping the same source, and we're all children of that. And so that was his driving passion. He wasn't the best father, and so my dad grew up in a series of orphanages and then went to the Navy. But he did oversee the soap manufacture. And so my dad was head of a LA-based chemical specialty manufacturer. I grew up working with him. And then, I got into Harvard. I was not very academically inclined, but played soccer my whole life and then crossed over and was kicking for the football team. So Harvard was interesting, and pretty quickly I got pretty bored of going to these non-interactive lectures. And somewhere around sophomore year, I just realized how much better smoking cannabis was than getting drunk at the bars and just hanging out with my roommates and just listening to music and having high vibration conversations. And by junior year, I quit football. I didn't want to be subject to any more drug testing, but mostly just kind of like borderline dropped out of school and was just ripping bong loads every day with my friends and listening to music. I'd rejected my Christian faith when I was like 13. I was like, and I grew up saying both the Shema, the Central Hebrew Prayer in Hebrew, and in my grandfather's translation, listen to children, eternal Father, eternal one. When I was 13, I was just like, if God so loved the world, why did he send his one and only son to this one spot? What about the Chinese and all the other planets? But by college, I was getting kind of impatient with the implicit scientific reductionistic materialism, and then on the postmodern side that it's all radically culturally constructed and contingent. There are no universal truths, and so I was like, it's kind of like in that Malo was kind of my first mushroom experience, and it's not going to be the experience I recount, but I'll just quickly say that I remember looking down at my arm, and just wondering, like, at a quantum level, like, I'm not different. Like, it's just one continuous energy. And then looking out the window and like seeing the trees and the buildings, I was like, wow, when I eat and I poop, the world's just pouring through me. And I'm not even like the same blood like month to month and stuff. I'm just like this river of energy with this living reality process. It's living, dying, rebirthing on this mega. And it's not me living over here and the world dead out there. It's just one big living reality. And it's all interflowing into each other. And so that was my first like kind of unity experience, and it wasn't like super, super profound, but it was pretty dang profound. I go to Amsterdam after college. I got a Euro pass. Of course, the mecca of cannabis culture. I'm in there, posted up in squats where, there's all these artists and activists, and meet a couple Americans that are facing 10 years to life because they were part of a church in Arkansas that grew cannabis as a sacrament, as a First Amendment challenge to the drug war. Really opened me up to, wow, man, this is like, I was just kind of like, a stoner, it wasn't really that politically awakened, although I was questioning authority. But then this is what really this hit home, like, God damn it, the drug war is just shredding people's lives who are beautiful, and the way it's been weaponized against people of color and counterculture activists. And so that's when I started to really activate. And then that's kind of the context of these like huge psychedelic experiences. I take an acid, like a pretty inconsequential acid trip in sophomore year. So that's mushroom experience was junior year. Yeah, so it's like a month in, and I'd gone like radio silent on my then girlfriend and partner. In this time. Maybe talked to her once, and was just really deep in my experience, really going for it. And she traveled in Asia and gone real deep in there. And when I connected like 3 weeks later, she had been in, just like really beside herself, and just things had gone down, and it was like pretty intense. I'd already had like a pretty big MDMA experience that, I was able to like, hey, not be reactive to the whole situation and just like kind of like, hey, and I'm gonna work on this and don't do anything crazy. Just it's gonna be all right, kind of thing. And then that Saturday, we're in our squat and I took some acid and then we were going down to this club, the Matzo. It's this gay trance club. Went down there and got in, I don't know, like 3 or 4 in the morning and took some MDMA. So it was basically candy flipping. Kind of at a certain, I kind of go in there and I feel like all these guys are like kind of coming up in my space um, and I hadn't really like gone that deep into my sexuality or sexuality in general or anything or thought about, what does it mean to be gay or straight or anything. And so, it was really kind of going inward and deep, but then also was like kind of feeling like all of a sudden like this aggressive like energy of, and like a rape energy. And I knew on one level that wasn't happening, but then on another I'm like, whoa, well, rape exists, like, boom, let's go in there. And then all of a sudden I was in it and I was going to get raped. And then I was like, okay, well, what's the like least sinful, like what's the least harmful process through this, like so that they sin the least. And it's like, well, just full surrender. So just in that full surrender, like just death, like ego death, boom. And I was in the love and the light, embraced into the mega love. And I saw her, the goddess visage in the dark, embraces me into the light and just like in the mega, like love and light. And, and I kind of come out of it and I'm like, holy shit, and it was processing that like, I'm not man, I'm not woman, I'm not gay, I'm not straight, I'm like incarnate soul here to get down, like just like all these constructs of identity and especially related with gender. Yeah. So in a way, like kind of processing some homophobic, whatever, self-denying, shame stuff. And next was my partner and really seeing her and seeing her in Asia and seeing her traveling and her light and her love and her eros and her compassion just flowing in her light and seeing that when she came back that I was jealous and that I was this like petty, insecure, small, masculine, whatever, just kind of like jealous of her bigger experience and had like in 1,000 kind of unconscious ways cut her down and in this little boxing Elena kind of style, like, and just saw it. I was like, dude, like better you die than be in the way of her light and love and died. And as I fell away from her light, I could see like a horde of like demons like assaulting her light, and that I was one of them. And as I fell away, her light exploded and embrace me into the love and the light. Yeah, just infinite forgiveness and infinite love. And so yeah, so I was in there for a bit and then came out. And then I'm like, holy shit, my granddad's right. All the faith traditions, we're not demonizing each other, pointing at this source. And well, wow. And then I'm like, wait a minute, God, like we're all dancing right here now. And there's like fucking literally rape and murder and the worst possible shit is happening all around the world right now. How does that fucking fit together? And then I was microscoped and nothing, and I was like the self of all, like I'm just like part of this, like just the mega infinite self, just living and dying and rebirthing and resurrecting and crucifying and suffering, just on the on beyond of it, and that it wasn't like God somewhere else inflicting this, it was God self suffering it, and it's all self to self to self, the crucifying, all of it is, all those energies are in it, and it's just it's just the on beyond I am that I am kind of deal. But then I saw Jesus stepping in and just kind of stepping into the maelstrom, just calm, compassionate, grace to him, just like stepping in and not trying to explain it, not complaining about it, just stepping in. And I was like, wow, I want to be like that. That's it. You got, you get down, you serve, and when the light would hit, like I would feel my heart chakra blow open, and I didn't have these words, I just felt this energy just come up, and like and just come, and the light would hit, this energy surge, and then the light, and be in it. So like the final kind of test in this like deep kind of soul initiation, and was Helena. So I met this gay guy earlier in the week and had this like nice connection with him. He had said that he had been trafficked as a kid and was a prostitute. And I was like, but we were just all smoking cannabis in this cafe, and it was just cool and stuff. So I've just like died like 5 different ways into the love and light, and just going through this like mega experience. And then all of a sudden he's cross dressed. He's Helena. She's Helena. Like kind of coming up all like beautiful and coming up in my space. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute. I just like died a bunch of ways, and I just got married to, my then girlfriend on the mega. And then it was like wrong answer, son. It was like this hot cold game, and I'm like back in the hole. And then I was like, dude, like, why would you like reject anybody coming with love and joy in their heart, like, and then bam, the love and light just exploded again, just embraced Helena like inwardly. And yeah, and just, just kind of confusing. Like I thought like everybody in my whole life was in the club, everyone was waiting for me to wake the fuck up, and I've ever seen the game, like with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn, at the end, it's kind of a metaphor of psychedelic journey, but like everyone's there clapping, and he goes through his death rebirth thing. I literally thought my parents, all my friends, my like look over, like, where's it? Yeah. But oh, he just finally fucking woke up. I've been waiting for years for this. Jesus. Yeah, and then like not having any real interpretive frameworks for what had happened. It was just like kind of borderline, definitely spiritual emergency, the Kundalini energy, all that stuff. I was like borderline schizophrenic for a little bit. Yeah, but still like really interesting things, and actually moved back to Amsterdam to grow plants, and was reading like Samatsoft Graf and Tibetan Book of Living Dying, and just like, just going deep and trying, finding like, oh, okay, getting some sense of what I experienced. But it's such a huge experience, and it took a while. I mean, eventually my then girlfriend had gotten pregnant and then miscarried, and I went back to Boston and was a mental health counselor in the Watertown, Waltham area around McLean's, and our daughter Maya was born on Dr. Bronner's death day. Our kid, non-binary kid Maya, on March 7th, 97 in Belmont, which is where Rick Doblin happens to live. Well, I mean, immediately it just, obviously rocked my world. I, understood that there is a divine love and intelligence and wisdom at the heart of existence. And yeah, it was like pretty puzzling to like untangle a lot of that stuff. Interestingly, I mean, Jungian analysis, actually, Jungian thought and neo-Jungians kind of like been really helpful, where you can see like anima and animus. So like my soul projecting onto first my then girlfriend. And so like all the, what I was oppressing and everything I was doing to her, I was doing to my own soul. So all that like toxic masculinity and insecure aggressiveness and all that shit that I was doing that to my own soul. With Helena, Jesus, I mean, arguably also, soul projection and just, our soul just showing up to us in the way that makes the most sense in a given context or question or dynamic. It could have been Krishna, I mean, it's not like, if I'd been imprinted culturally different, but the, just a symbolic, the archetype of the, perfect, compassionate, like wise, Buddha, Christ, conscious individual and being, and like that as our highest potential vibration. And there's this guy named Justin Natoli, just a deep queer therapist and theorist. But he talks about the divine queer, that there you have the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and definitely had plenty of divine feminine in this experience. Yeah, so just that's just kind of synchronistic. Today is coming out day. I mean, I've done like a lot of work in a lot of different directions, and I tried on like, oh, maybe I'm bi, it's just kind of come out experience, but that wasn't quite right. I mean, I'm not like that attracted to male identified people, but definitely queer, and really exploring that queer in gay bars and raves and queer spaces, and just really understanding and celebrating that, and but like really honoring that I've like known for a while I'm like 25% girl. I'll just say that and whatever, and be like dressed like this at the burn and stuff, but I'm still doing a lot of damage, and a lot of people are, in this gender binary straitjacket, and we just totally repress and underexpress a lot of dimensions of ourselves. And so today I'm like writing a blog and posting some pictures on just my coming out as he, they. Yeah, I would, read, some reputable guide to a good experience. Just about controlling set and setting, and being in nature, blindfolds with music, or, some kind of intentional thing, and getting your internal set, preparing and coming in and being clear, not stressed and upset, ideally, although sometimes those can be the biggest experiences. Resources and websites. I think Trip Sitters is a good resource. It's one example. And books. I mean, it was interesting. It was like I was this borderline schizophrenic mental health counselor counseling paranoid schizophrenic populations, which actually was really helpful. Like I was able to really check my stuff and relativize it, which was nothing compared to what these guys were doing. It's pretty good about like kind of being with people in a delusional state, but just kind of, slowly grounding back down. Yeah. And that was just really therapeutic and really helpful. Yeah. But then, like getting in the ocean, I mean, just talking, like, what did I not do that I wish I did? I wish I was like getting in the ocean and nature. Yeah. Movement, dance, just get the energies flowing.